Bonjour and welcome to all you comic book geeks, you comic book readers and you comic book collectors. Sorry I've been absent from my birthday and then a week holiday onwards. I'm sorry there's been a big gap in output, but I'm back. I'm sure you all, I can hear the rapturous applause from here. So anyway, I am back and I've got a special edition particularly for all you comic book collectors. And well, I suppose it overlaps with geeks, to be fair, and readers. But if you was a reader of this one, Wonder Woman, back in the late 80s, 87, George Perez. If you was a reader of this, you had to dedicate 45 minutes to every issue. It was dense, but it was beautiful because of the aforementioned George Perez. And I've just recently picked up the first 50 issues of this run. And this is the run that melted into, do you remember the Brian Bolland? All those Brian Bolland covers. But in the meanwhile, we have got 50. You've got all these gorgeous George Perez covers. And do you know what I realised? Because I'm not any follower of my channel, you all know that I'm not the biggest DC fan, but I am maybe of the big three, of the Holy Trinity, which is Superman, Batman and Wonder Woman. And back in the day, in the late 80s, when everything was kicking off with Dark Knight Returns and Watchmen and, you know, all the independent comics that were coming out, I mean, look at these beautiful covers. I mean, look at this, and you can't say that Brian Bolland maybe didn't take some inspiration from these covers. Look at that, just one image, no words, one image, and they're the covers I like. I mean, here they kind of give the Ares onslaught, but what they were doing back here. And it was, what I noticed was, in the first two issues, a guy called Greg Porter was doing the script. He was script and co-plotter. Now, I've never heard of Greg Porter. I thought this was all Perez. I thought this was Perez's baby. But it wasn't. Greg Porter and then Len Wein, who needs no introduction, and if you just have to Google it or Wikipedia it, because, you know, I want to make these videos kind of just showing off the back issues I bought. I mean, look at how beautiful these covers are by George Perez, look. And you cannot tell me that Brian Bolland, he's his own artist, don't get me wrong, and he's got his influences. But when he started the Wonder Woman covers, no one can tell me that he did not take inspiration. Look at a cover like this, and this was a particularly beautiful issue, by the way, which I posted on Threads. So I won't bang on about it here, but you know, it was an issue that was composed of diary entries and characters' personal letters home, so to speak. And what a beautiful job Perez done of it. I mean, Perez and Wein, you know, how much they was doing a little bit of the Marvel writing format. But issue 9, this for me is the first appearance of Cheetah. Officially, it's issue 7, where there's a panel or they mention her name or whatever it is. But this is where she's on the cover and she's on the inside and they have a fight. So for me, that's the first Cheetah. Yeah. But if you enjoyed the first film, which I did with Gal Gadot, you know, look at these beautifully designed and rendered covers. It was, everything boils back to this for me. I don't know if it would have been in earlier iterations of Wonder Woman. I don't think so. I think our modern conception of Wonder Woman is based on this Perez run, because it's all about the gods and Themyscira and you know, how she deals with, look, like here, how she deals with the gods and how she is a god and blah blah, as well as, and oh, look at this, look, I don't know what I love so much about that cover. I don't know what it is. Just that pale blue and white. I don't know what it is, but I love it. And again, I forget. Do you know what? I forget. I've always got to forget someone's name in these videos, haven't I? And I forget her name now, but she kept coming up against her. And look at this. Look at this cover in silhouette. What a brave cover. That's when you know your sales are on the up and up. When you can do a cover in silhouette, and again a month later, when you can do a cover like that is almost in like a horror cover for Wonder Woman. I mean, come on. I mean, this is a classic. Come on, George. Come on, Mr. Perez. You know that putting Wonder Woman in chains is going to sell a comic. And this is a very. This reminded me of American Flag and Howard Chaykin and the way they did the kind of the grey tone in the artistry. But I do like remind you of Watchmen, which would have been around about the same time. To be fair, so I'm not saying one inspired the other or vice versa. And again, here she goes with those old wristbands. But everything we've come to know and love via the cinema about Wonder Woman, these issues are kind of the origin. These are your, for want of a better term, this is the Bible. These issues are the Bible for what we all came to know and love in the modern world for Wonder Woman. Suddenly, issue 25, a guy called Chris Marinan is penciling it. But Perez is still on the covers. And he's still writing it. So I don't know if what else he was doing in the late 80s, George Perez. Like I say, I'm not the biggest DC fan. That's a glorious cover. But as you can see, design-wise, these covers are glorious. And Bolland would do a good few dozen more. You know, a cover like that, look, be absolutely beautiful. And this one as well, when you have to look closely at a piece of artwork, look, to see where the eyes are, look, right in the middle of the frame, look, there they are, look, and you have to, you know, George was look at how well rendered the characters are. Every single character in that, on that cover. And again, good old Cheetah's back in silhouette by now. Look, Savage Moon. Floating heads on that one. That's not particularly one of the best. Now we're getting into some Marinan covers, so you can literally see the quality drop where Perez is only doing the inking. You can see where Marinan is doing the yeah, look, you can see, yeah, that's just what it is. That's not how you is that how you sell a Wonder Woman comic? No, of course it's not. And to be fair, Tom King is using all of this military might versus Wonder Woman in the latest iteration. So this collection, this George Perez run, whether he's on the artwork or the writing or not, is still resonating. In my opinion, is still resonating today within DC. I mean, that is, to be fair, that is glorious. I don't know if that is, no, that's Marinan as well, but yeah, it looks more Perez than Marinan. But and then it all just kind of runs out of steam, really. It's all Marinan covers and yeah, but Perez was still writing it. So again, you get a cover like that seems like pure Perez, but obviously isn't, because Marinan has done it. I'm not saying he's a bad artist. I'm just saying he's not in Perez's league. You know, it just gets to a point where, you know, it is just a comic cover. Oh, and you can tell that as soon as Perez is back on the covers, look at that one. Look at that. You can see the beauty in the detail of what the guy brings to. And this altogether, this is a completely. I mean, issue 46, and Perez is thinking, right, I'm gonna spread my wings a bit here. Little bit of pastel on canvas. I don't know what that is. Whether or not that you expect that to sell a Wonder Woman comic, they're pushing the boundaries, which I do love. This is another glorious cover. In the horror vein again, which we haven't seen, we hadn't seen for a long while. But look, just love that. And again, I think this might be like Bill. I thought this might have been Moon Knight by Bill Sienkiewicz, but no, it wasn't. you remember that cover. And then just rounding it off, just the last two, issue 49 and issue 50, and these first 50 issues, I was so happy to acquire, and thanks to Paul at Comics and Fantasy in Hornchurch, Essex, who supplied me. He knew, because I'd got my new Teen Titans run, Marv Wolfman and George Perez, that precedes that. Obviously, that was in the early 80s. I think it might have been even 1980. Anyway, he knew I'd be up for that. So thank you, Paul, for that. I literally enjoyed that collection so much, this issue. And I might have the second half on its way. So there might be a part 2 to this video. But if you have stayed with me this far, thank you so much. And it's good to be back waffling about comics. And you sexy subscribers, thank you so much for staying with me. If you're still here, give me a like. Most of all, give me a comment. Did you pick these up? Are you interested? Did you buy them when they were out? Whatever it is, Wonder Woman, for me, that run sums it all up for the character for me. And I'm a non-DC fanatic, so I could be way off, but I'm just saying for me. And until next time, I will now bid you all adios.